Welcome back, true believer. Can't I get you anything? Some Merry Marvel mayhem to get the old pulse pounding?
Hey there, true believers. Joshua Westbrook here, back with some more Merry Marvel mayhem to get the old pulse pounding. Now, if you've been collecting Marvel Legends for a while, like me, then you have this Captain America. This is from the First Avenger movie. Now, the problem with this guy is that this is the only one that they've made from Captain America, the First Avenger. And he's outdated, you know? He doesn't really stack up next to the other legends really well. Like, I've got his best gal, Peggy, here, and, you know, there's just something off about him. Like, look at him and look at Peggy. See, like, the problem I find is in his face. If you look at his face here, it's just so undetailed. He's got just like big blue circles for his eyes. The blue on his helmet is a different color than the blue on the rest of his costume. And this costume is like, the suit design is great. The detail, they got the scales, they've got the straps, like they've got the boot straps, everything. The back of it's very detailed. Back then, Hasbro actually did a very good job with details, but he's just, the face is so off-putting because it's so outdated. This was before Hasbro was using their face printing technology. Even when they made Peggy, they weren't using their face printing technology yet, but she still looks really good. It's just so outdated, and this shield is so flat. It's so, like, the back of it looks okay, but like the front of it, the colors don't pop, and it's a little undersized. There are some Marvel Legends cap shields I think are too big. This one I think is just a little too small. It's a little too, like, the colors don't pop. It's flat. It doesn't look that good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to upgrade this Captain America. And I went through quite a few iterations, quite a few cap figures, but I finally figured out the perfect way to do it with this guy. And if you have these figures, you can do it too. Now, like I said, the rest of the body of the figure looks fantastic. It's just his head and his shield that are the problem. So, after trial and error, I found this guy. Whoops. This guy, the Marvel Legends Endgame Quantum Suit Captain America. His helmet, number one, looks the most like the First Avenger helmet, because if you look at some other, let's bring in Age of Ultron cap. If you look at his, like, you see the wingtips, they're kind of streamlined, they're kind of modern. But this helmet, the wingtips actually go, like, flare out kind of. And, you know, it's still a little modern on the First Avenger helmet, but it's not, like, so streamlined like the other Captain America helmets. This one is the closest one to it. So what we're going to do is pop this guy's head off. And then we're going to pop this guy's head off. A little harder than it looks. Now, let's just focus on this for a second. This Captain America head, it looks like Chris Evans. I think they were using their face printing technology at this point. And even though this Endgame Captain America figure is widely considered to be, you know, he was the cheapest and most available of the wave, the helmet and the head still look really good. They still, like, look at the eyes have way more detail than, like, see that? The head is bigger. Like, this head is almost too small. It's almost too small on his body, you know, and this one, it looks more proportionately sized, and it looks a whole heck of a lot better and a whole heck of a lot more detailed. Now, the strap is brown. You can tell that they have the strap on there. If you're more skilled than me, you can paint it. I think it serves its purpose, though. Like, this head just looks so much better, and it fits on there almost perfectly. Like, actually very perfectly. And look how much of a difference that made on this figure. Look at him. Look at how much better he looks. Put him next to his best gal, Peggy. Like, he looks so much better this way. It's such an improvement. It's such an improvement. I also figured, well, first of all, if you don't want to leave this guy headless, then it's a quantum suit, so you can put any head on him. Let's put Tony's head on him here. There you go. Now it's Tony in the quantum suit. Ignore the shield. Ta-da. Okay. So this can go away. We don't need that. I love this so much more. The blues match a little better on the helmet and this suit. Now the skin tone doesn't necessarily match, but you can't even tell, can you? You have to look really close to tell that the neck and the chin don't match. And even so, you can't really see his neck. It's like I said, it's really close. It's really close. It's just slightly off, but you can't even tell. He looks so much better. Now for the shield. I can get rid of this one. Whoops. Okay. Now you can use the quantum suit shield. I personally think that this one is too much for the First Avenger version of Captain America. So I used the Age of Ultron shield because it's a little simpler, it's a little less glossy, it's a little more in line with like how the other shield was, but it looks a little more complex. Slip it on his arm like there, and it's a tad bit bigger, and it just looks so much better on this guy. It looks so much better on him. Check this out. Look at that. It's such an improvement compared to what he was before. It really is. I think that this is the best version of the First Avenger Captain America, the best way to get him to, you know, just match up with the rest of your collection. Now, speaking of his best girl, Peggy, she's not going to want to kiss him with the helmet on, now is she?
Keep it steady! Wait! Go get him.
I stand by what I said. Anyways, this Peggy Carter came with this Steve Rogers in a 2-pack. Now, the fun thing about this, look at this. His head comes off, and it fits on there. Look at that. Now you've got an unmasked version of the head that fits perfectly fine. Now Peggy can kiss him all she wants. If you don't want to leave this guy headless, the fun thing is he came with a second head that can just pop right on. See, in this one, I know people wonder what the difference is. He has a more full head of hair. His hair is flat, so you can fit the helmet on his head. That's how. And you can even put this head on him with the helmet when he's on his USO tour. But yeah, so good thing he came with 2 heads. I believe the Endgame cap is really easy to find. The Peggy and Steve 2-pack is actually pretty simple to find and not too expensive last time I checked. I don't know about the Age of Ultron cap. I don't imagine he's too difficult to find. But even then, there's a whole bunch of, like any Marvel Legends Captain America, you can get the shield off of him. And it'll be better than the one he came with. You can just fit that right on him. And get him to hold it. This hand doesn't hold it too well. This hand actually has it clamps it a little better, but this one's easier to get it off. Once it's in this hand, it's impossible to get off of him. So here you go. Whoops. There we are. The updated version of the First Avenger Captain America figure. I think that this works great. He's wonderful. He's so much better than the way the figure came. Again, this is the only version of the First Avenger suit that they made for Captain America. So that's the only reason I'm doing this swap out even, because Hasbro hasn't updated them. They've made a whole bunch of different versions of Captain America, but they haven't remade this one. They've remade several versions of them, just not this one, which is a little wild considering all of the MCU 10th anniversaries and the Infinity Saga figures that they do. You'd think at some point they would have got around to making this guy again, since the first one is just so inferior, but I guess that's why I had to take matters into my own hands. So yeah, if you have those figures, true believers, you can update your First Avenger Captain America to actually look, worthy to stand next to the other ones on your shelf. I didn't want to display him next to other figures because he was so outdated and poor looking, but just a simple change of head and shield, and he looks like he's ready to go. That's all I got for you now, true believers. Go to facefrontblog.com to do the weekly poll to let me know if you think this guy looks better, if you think he looks worse, if you think it doesn't make much of a difference. And until then, yeah, to keep it on Face Front for more tips and tricks on how to make your Marvel Legends look great. Face Front, true believers, and I'll see you in the multiverse.